Quotation marks. Hello and welcome to Tales of Athanasia, where a bunch of us very tired people sit around and play Dungeons and Dragons. Tonight we pick up with the Rockettes after Yes, Jay, please shove a piece of meat into your mouth and then try and continue to speak. We had a momentous encounter with the Shadow Horde. Hero had a momentous transformation and then was promptly worshipped, question mark, by one of the Sentinels of Peace.
Yeah, that's a little weird.
Meanwhile, Rocky went a couple of ticks toward evil as he cut the tongue out of the stranger that you guys had just killed, and then came out with diced tongue. Unfortunately, you all have reconvened with Astra and the remainder of your crew aboard the Key, and you find yourselves in relative safety and absolute darkness, apart from the very, very burning forest below you.
Oh, yeah.
How would you like to proceed?
It's a swamp. It'll be fine. I think we were. Where were we going next? Were we talking about going to Usoria next? To go talk to Sirius?
I think so, and the ship needs some repairs and probably improvements and stuff.
I've never been to Usoria.
It sucks.
Oh man!
I feel like with Ronnie, I should think the opposite of what she says because she doesn't know what fun is. So
You weren't there for the rave.
no, I was not.
Ronnie thinks everything sucks.
That's exactly my reasoning.
We do have a place to stay if we go there.
We do.
I mean, whoa, really?
You're like, oh, this is the first time I'm hearing about this.
You're always welcome at the Dominion Tower, of course.
Actually, I can't believe
War Tower.
I just actually Yara. Jeez, man. No, but to clarify, Yara wouldn't know that it's the Dominion Tower. She would.
That's
still
what I
be
just.
at the War Tower. Yeah.
Yeah, the War Tower.
Well, there's also
know.
Kathy's mansion.
Yeah, we can just squat in that too. Why not?
Can I make
Okay,
sure?
is that where we're going?
Go ahead, Allison.
I said, is that where we're going? Yes. Okay, that's where we're going.
Ronnie's like making an executive decision. We're doing this now.
That's what I do. Is
No
like,
one-
what are we eating? We going to
No
get
one's
tacos? And no one says anything. I'm like, okay, it's tacos. You don't get to choose anymore.
Great, cool. We're doing this now. Bye. I feel like that's like a little bit of Allison the mom coming through Ronnie.
I can also sell off all this crap that I have for money.
You do have a lot of crap.
I do.
All right. Well, considering that no one has spoken up and Ronnie has given more or less an executive decision, Astra will look to Yara and say, Captain, are we headed to Usoria?
Yes, I believe so. Let us set course. Well, wait a sec. I wouldn't know any of that. I'm still
See, yes, that.
really just not not able to process this whole new. Okay, so I go, Captain. What do you mean?
She looks over at Ronnie and then back at Yara and says, "Is the captain in possession of all of her faculties?"
Hold on a second. I'm gonna pull Yara to the side. Like, okay, so either you forgot or you're a totally different Yara. You're probably a totally different Yara because, like, I have the other Yara head in my bag of holding. But you were with us before, and we made you captain of the ship because you were the most competent person. So if you would like to continue being captain, that's cool. But if you don't continue being captain, then the bard's like next in line. And I don't know if anybody really wants that.
Well, that seems to be an astute decision. I kind of look around at the lot on the ship right now.
I mean, they're all looking at you like they're waiting for you to say something, along the lines of like, "Okay, what are our orders, boss?"
Yes, I think we need to head back to Euzoria. So, let's do that then.
Astra kind of shrugs a little bit and says, "Okay, you heard the captain. Make way for Euzoria." And she and Prague share a significant glance, and the rest of the crew kind of looks around and shrugs, and they begin to ready the ship to take off for Euzoria.
On our way there, I'm going to talk with Yara about how much she remembers.
Okay.
And try to fill her in as best I can. But it's going to be all from Ronnie's cynical point of view.
Of course. Yeah. So, let's summarize how that goes down. It doesn't need to be a full conversation because there's a lot of information, but you guys will quickly realize that Yara definitely came from the other timeline, the one that you guys came from. Actually, do you want to summarize, Chad? What was her journey like?
I mean, I'm just trying to remember the differences. So basically, Yara kind of explains that things were getting more hectic and worse, and she had not heard from any of you in a while. So she took some of the war wizards and apprentices. I guess the other apprentices, there wouldn't be any other wizards.
Mm-hmm.
And proceeded to try and figure out what had happened to you all in Mekon, and then track down. Oh, geez, you guys flew there, and then you teleported. So I don't know if going to Sirius would have helped much, but
you were able to locate them. That is to say, you know that they frequented Sifu, and you gathered rumors that they were somewhere nearby. So you picked up a job nearby. That was the cult job, and then, as opposed to all of your guild members dying except for the interns, in your reality, the interns died and nobody else did.
that's right. So,
So they were heroes. Were they heroes who sacrificed themselves?
Or are they still like super incompetent? Is that why they died?
Yeah, they tried to rush that kid to the gate, and we had to make our escape. Didn't do anything for them, so got crushed flat. Unfortunately, but after that, we were able to triangulate you guys were at the time tower, and I proceeded to make my way in. After the trials there, I exited the tower and surmised my next best move was to just start going and try to find the other stones of power, knowing that you all are searching for them as well. That would be our best chance for our paths to cross, and it looks like that seems to have held true.
There is one detail, and I realize that Chad probably doesn't remember, but Yara would. Would Yara tell them about Mekon?
Which part?
The part where when you entered the time tower.
You're gonna have to help me out. I forgot.
No worries, no worries. So significantly, when Yara entered the time tower, she felt drawn to the sarcophagus room, and while she was there, she felt that there was some significance to the pile of ashes on the floor, and then before her eyes, Mikon was reconstituted and became himself again, no longer zombified. She and Mikon attempted to navigate their way back out of the tower, but in doing so, they got separated by time, and then basically she was unable to figure out where he went afterward. So she emerged in the same place that you guys did, but she wasn't able. They didn't have enough coordination to realize that they needed to wait for each other, and so she ended up continuing her search for Mikon, figuring that he was around somewhere. So theoretically, there is a living Mikon somewhere in this timeline of Athanasia. While she has been out and about attempting to find him, she has tracked down the Conjuration Stone in a forest on the Corvian mountain range. This is like the southern end of the Renai Forest. And then they were able to, in addition to acquiring the Conjuration Stone, you located the second smaller craft, the Fang. The Conjuration Stone to power it, and then sort of in the search for more stones to kind of help the effort, you discovered that there was rumors of the Fate Stone out west, and that's when you flew overhead, experienced the same sort of magical glitching that happened to the key, but because it was a smaller craft, it wasn't able to kind of recover afterward, and it ended up pitching it into the marshes. Because
Yeah,
the static.
it's coming back to me slowly now.
So Mikon,
That pile of Mekon ash was our Mekon because he opened a sarcophagus of himself, which turned out to be like super evil Mekon, and he ended up dying. So when we finally made out a time stone, we didn't have Mekon because he died inside. Well, we tried to revive him. Actually, we had his. It was weird that you found ashes because we brought ashes with us, or some remains with us, and we tried to revive him, but it didn't work. We weren't able to bring him back.
I think that a Mekon exists somewhere, and perhaps that's why the attempt wasn't successful. But I don't know. I've unfortunately. Temporal magic is not my main specialty, and while I know some of the temporal effects that can happen, the time tower was many grades beyond my studies.
Well, now that we have the divination stone, maybe we could see if we can find if Mekon is anywhere around, or maybe that would be the Mind Stone. I don't know, and I don't know if the Mind Stone would work because I don't know if that Mekon if it ever knew that Mekon or not. I have no idea. But anyway, after that, we decided to go after the divination stone, and you and I actually were able to fight off these like huge lizard things, and we were able to gain access to the divination stone, and we were attacked by pirates who have the Weatherstone, and we employed them, and now they're on the ship. And then they were attacked by other pirates, and we didn't kill them for some reason, and some of them are still on the ship. And then we were attacked by harpies, and we got the Weatherstone back, and we also got the Darkness Stone from a Kraken, and then we came here to get the Fate Stone, and that's when we found you. So there, you're all caught up.
That is quite the series of adventures. Well, it sounds like we're getting closer to our end goal.
Yeah,
If that many stones have been gathered.
how many stones do we have left?
So, you all have the Conjuration Stone now. Let's see. So you're looking for 1, 2, 3, 4. Nope, you have the Fate Stone as well. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There are 7 left.
Not too shabby.
So those are enhancement, creation, nature, dominion, life, telekinesis, and illusion. I'll put those in the chat.
Okay. So I think what we should do is we do need to repair the ship, and the ship right now isn't the super best way for us to travel. But I think what the plan is, and please correct me if I'm wrong, anybody, we kind of split up into 2 groups. There's us, and then there's the pirates we have employed on the ship. And we are going to kind of split off into 2 to try to search for the remaining stones. And they're going to use the weather stone to help them power the ship. And then they can use whatever other stones they find. And we'll take the rest. Does that sound correct? Or, yeah.
You're the boss.
I'm not the boss.
Rocky literally calls you boss.
Yeah, but I never hired you. You just tagged along. Well, Yara's the captain.
Speaking of which, Yara, while you do have proficiency in air vehicles, you are kind of at square one as far as being the captain.
Yeah, I know.
So-
I lost all those checks, so now I'm haphazardly taking command of the ship, and
You're welcome to make a captaining check for this travel to Euphoria.
sure.
How would you like to make your first impression as captain? Intimidation, persuasion?
I think I started with intimidation the last time, so we're gonna do that again.
Okay. Sounds good.
Let me pull up her sheet. I think I have a +10 to that, but no, just a 6. Okay, so just a 13.
Okay. The crew seems dubious, but you're able to kind of wrangle them in and pull them into line. It seems like people aren't necessarily as, that is to say, everybody else notices that they aren't as sort of ready to follow this Yara as the other one just yet. But they go along. It's going to be about a day and a half's journey to Euzoria from where you are now. If someone would like to make a navigator's tools check, I guess Prague would, and Hero, if you want to assist, you're welcome to.
Yeah. Help him. My character sheet isn't opening as fast as I'd have liked it. I think my addition to the wisdom check is +5.
Okay. Okay. So Prague is going to get a +5 to his wisdom check. All right. Now that he's finally learned the lesson of like directing the turning the maps the correct direction, you and he both have now kind of fallen into a rhythm where you're able to figure out where you need to go, plot the course, find a star on the horizon and follow it. You notice that as he's sort of developing a better, sort of more symbiotic relationship with the ship, you see that he's able to now socket the Weatherstone and begin using it as sort of he's able to map predictive models of how weather is naturally going to be flowing and take advantage of those to reduce the time that the ship will have to travel. So you find that you'll actually be able to make it in under a day now.
Sweet.
Can we?
Oops.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Dave.
I was gonna say, do we get a long rest?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. What are you going to say, Chelsea?
I was just gonna make sure that I got what's her face settled and got the attention she needed to heal wounds and stuff.
Oh
Ooh,
yeah,
good.
and I'm still deaf. I don't know how that conversation happened. I just remembered.
Oh crap! I totally
That must
forgot
have been
about all
through
that stuff,
Rocky.
dude.
Yeah. We'll say Rocky was there translating telepathically.
Oh yeah.
When
Ron's
you
still-
rest, could you now since you fixed Brand's hearing, you fixed mine?
Here it is. The
You're
once per
breaking
game,
up.
the once per game stutter that Chad's got.
I feel like we
Okay,
should be able to roll through the same thing. Would I be able to assist him this time?
Theoretically, yeah. You may recall that this system we're using is similar to the resurrection rules, and in order to actually assist, it would involve some kind of like preparatory like material component that you would need to gather. In your case, Bran, actually, that might be ideal for you. It would be, something rare and odd and hard to find, but of all the party members, you're probably the most equipped to do that kind of thing.
I do a bunch of weird shit. Yep. And a bunch of weird books. Would that work? Or are you more thinking of like a bear skin hide?
Yeah, like it wouldn't be something that just anybody would have available. It would be the kind of thing that, number one, you would have to go looking for, and it's going to be like odd circumstances when it comes to gathering it. Like it needs to be under, it's the sort of thing where it's like under a full moon, a single flower plucked from the north side of a tree that is then soaked in the blood of an innocent man. Things like this.
I was wondering if I could just use one of my books to give him a bonus to other rolls or something.
If Yara takes some time to read the book that you have available, you can certainly do that. That's a thing.
We have a full day. Chad, you did this, or sorry, Yara, you did this before.
The other two curses, but they're certainly powerful ones, and I think given some time, I should be able to lift the other two.
So at this point, then, Bran, while we're waiting for that, I actually want to pitch past you that you now actually have a patient. So as the surgeon of the ship, you have something to do.
Oh yeah.
Fantastic. Is it myself?
So,
Is it myself?
no, it's the woman, the Sentinel of Peace that was collected from the Marshes of Madness.
Ah,
By
fantastic.
So she was like with some hit points. I think you restored like 15 hit points.
Yeah.
She could use some pretty intensive care. She's been through a lot. This is so. I'm playing around with the idea of like long-term afflictions kind of thing, like a broken bone or a punctured lung or things that would take longer to heal than just like, give me 8 hours and I'll be fine kind of situation. So in her case, her fate thread was severed, which is still true. And then she's obviously been through a lot of like trauma when it comes to all of her troop being lost in the marshes of madness and basically never coming back. So she's literally the lone survivor of her troop of sentinels who went off into the marshes of madness. So,
sister.
Yes. So if you are interested in doing so, go ahead and roll a surgeon check. That'll be medicine.
Well, I had it here a second ago. I guess I'll pull it up. There we go. Oh, wow, that's horrible. 16.
She dies. No, I'm just kidding. No, 16, you're able to give her pretty good first aid. You're able to make her comfortable, alleviate her pain. You're able to grind some of the herbs you've collected over time into a good poultice that helps to not solve the problem of her fate thread being severed, but certainly to help her to not feel it as drastically as she has previously. So she's no longer moaning constantly, for example. She seems to be resting peacefully for now, and none of the major problems have been solved, but at least she's not suffering.
Good.
So to bring Heath up to speed, Ronnie and Yara had a chat. They caught each other up on what's going on. There's some plans to have the curses broken at some point in the future. You guys got a long rest. You got your Sentinel of Peace survivor aboard, and Bran was able to make her comfortable. In the meantime, y'all are headed to Eusoria, theoretically to visit either the War Guild, now the Dominion Guild, or Kathy's mansion. We're not entirely sure which.
Cool.
So you almost became captain.
Yara.
Because Yara, this isn't the same Yara, so she wasn't really captain.
I demand a recount.
Can I spend a few hours researching? Well, I would say reading, but not reading. Trying to figure out how I can fix my eyeballs. Is this going to be a? I was actually just kind of curious. Can I just cut them open?
You are welcome to try.
Rocky, I need you to cut
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, you can certainly try.
Rocky, when he says cut me. Rocky.
Later, Bran comes into my office with like a dagger stuck in his eye. Can you fix this?
You talk to Rocky. Of course, you can't see that he has a bunch of diced tongue in his hand, and you're like, "Hey, Rocky, can you cut my eyes open?" And he goes,
Yeah.
"Sure."
I'm working on the curse. If you want to hold off.
Well, and so I guess which curse would you like to tackle first? Because this will involve a little bit of reconnaissance to solve.
Focus on theirs. I wanted to research mine.
Okay.
I mean, if I can't hear, I can't really go and sell our stuff for money for everyone.
Yeah,
I'm really stealthy right now, guys.
It does seem only fair since I broke one of the ones. It does seem only fair since I broke one of the ones on Bran that I should now concentrate on Ronnie's curse.
Yeah, never mind the fact that
you should already be good at it, right?
What about Hero?
I mean, yes, that's kind of my point. Yes. What about Hero? She's also cursed.
No, you said that the deafness went away when I.
Oh, you're right. That's
I'm
true.
good.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank
That's
you
why
for.
I was confused because I'm like I thought that it's just Ronnie and Bran that's still cursed.
Yeah, it is.
You're right. Yeah. So her transformation did remove all of her curses. So Ronnie is deaf, Bran is blind, and I think that's the sum total of the curses that remain.
Okay, I'll I suppose I'll try to figure out the nature of the curse on Ronnie and do some research into that.
Okay. Go ahead and roll an Arcana check as your preliminary attempt to understand this curse and how it works.
Pretty good. It's a nat 17. I think that's going to be a 27.
Ooh, nice.
So
Okay.
pretty good.
Let me grab my spheres book here. Okay, so Yara, as you are trying to determine, you're examining the enchantment that is currently afflicting Ronnie. And as you study it, you recognize that it is in fact it derives from the Fate Stone. So that leads you to investigate the Fate Stone further. And because you are attuned to it, you're able to sort of tap into its power, and you recognize that it does not, it has not been awakened. So you're not able to communicate with the stone spirit inside. But your magical education helps you sort of understand what's going on without that additional assistance. You detect that the curse in question is what would be described as a word talent of the Fate Sphere. It is the curse ability within that word talent. And specifically, the fact that it has lasted, so it has persisted so long and is so difficult to undo, is the result of an advanced talent called execration, which causes any curse that normally lasts until the start of the next turn to instead become permanent until dispelled. So that would lead you to believe that somebody would not be able to even do that unless they were at least 11th level spellcasters. Now, you've already discovered that breaking Bran's curse was difficult enough. You got like a 20-something on your attempt to dispel. You believe that dispelling this curse on Ronnie would be something similar. You don't know how much lower you could have gone and still been able to release the curse, but something, you know that you rolled above a 20 and it worked. So that's kind of where you're at as far as that goes. With a 27, you're able to determine that this curse could benefit from up to 3 distinct material contributions. You detect that one of them could derive from something in Ronnie's past that fears. So some object or bit of some symbol of something that Ronnie is afraid of. You detect that another one of the components will need to be something that Ronnie loves, and a third one that Ronnie has never experienced before.
Good luck, Yara.
Okay. So these are 3 elements that can help increase the chances.
Yes.
Of breaking the ritual curse. Okay.
I hand Yara a piece of gold.
What?
Said I hand Yara
One
a
of
piece
these
gold.
solved. All right. It may have to be something with more sentimental value rather than.
Yeah, you don't know her as long as I have.
So a symbol of something I love.
Yeah, a thing, an object or symbol of something that you fear, something you love, and something you've never experienced.
All right, so I'll convey that information. I can attempt to break the curse, such as I did on Bran, but these elements will help empower the ritual. I'm afraid that I haven't known you long enough to know what objects would be most appropriate.
You also get the sense, Yara, with your 27, you get the sense that this will probably not be something that could the more rare, I will say this, the more rare object or symbol, the more powerful it will be. So you can certainly, contribute a gold piece, if you choose, but because that will be very common and not very unique, it might not offer as much benefit as something that might be more meaningful.
I have something more meaningful.
Oh? I asked quizzically.
Pull out my dad's pipe that I carry around with me. So there's that one.
Will the item be destroyed in the process of attempting to break the curse, or is it only used as a conduit?
With a 27, you would determine that it is, in fact, something that would be consumed, yes.
I will take that back.
Certainly, I wouldn't want you to destroy.
Does it have to be an actual item, or can it be like just like a symbol?
A symbol.
Okay.
So she could like write someone's name that she loves on a piece of paper and.
Again, while that's theoretically possible, because that's not terribly unique, anybody could write someone's name on a piece of paper. It will not offer as much of a benefit as if it were a more unique symbol.
Yeah, so I'll reluctantly say that the pipe would be a potent ritual item, but obviously I'm not going to ask you to sacrifice one of the few memories left of your father.
All I have left of my dad is this pipe and his journal.
You do also have the archaeological dig site maps, the topographical survey maps from his office.
Yeah. That's the thing. I don't know if we're done with those yet. I mean, I guess technically we would be done with, I can't remember the number, but the dig site we found Rocky at.
Dig site 23?
Dig site 23. I guess we would technically be done with that one. So I can hand that over.
Yeah, I'll kind of look everything over and see that it was written in his personal hand, and
yeah.
Yes, I think this will suffice.
Go ahead and roll. We'll call this an insight check, Yara.
Okay. I'm not great at insight, so that's just going to be a 12.
Okay. You are not extremely familiar with topographical survey maps, especially archaeological ones. You are more about causing destruction than documenting ancient locations. But because you have not seen anything else like this, you would assume that it is either extremely unique or one of a kind. So your guess is that while it is both extremely personal, it is also incredibly uncommon, and therefore would probably be a good candidate for offering a solid bonus.
All right, I'll sit down and put on my psychologist glasses. Come, tell me about your fears.
I have an idea for that, but I don't know if I would have an item to give you.
Well, what exactly is it that...
I am I look around. Are we the only ones in this room?
Other than Rocky, who's translating for you.
I trust Rocky.
I look over and yell at the goblin to get out of here.
Yeah.
That goblin's everywhere.
Goblin's not in here.
Get out! This is a private curse council. Get out. Private curse consultation. Yes.
I can't remember if Yara knows this, that Ronnie can turn into like a fox folk or has a zoanthropy. I can't remember.
I don't know if that's come up since she's been around. I don't think so. Not this one anyway.
Okay. Well, I have this affliction, let's say. And I'm scared that one day I will change and I won't ever be able to change back. And I don't know how I can make that into have a symbol of that.
Where were you afflicted? I mean, when did the affliction happen?
Show me on the doll where the bad man touched you.
Yeah.
Not like physically, but like where were you when it happened?
Geographically.
Right there, and I point to the dig site drawing.
Oh. I consider that a moment. Do I think maybe there's a way to tie that into both elements?
Excellent question. Let's call that another insight check.
Okay.
Or Arcana. I think Arcana would make more sense, actually.
Just a 16.
Okay. You know, with these kinds of rituals that the symbols need to occupy different locations in the ritual circle. They need to kind of like triangulate. So, unfortunately, because that can't be in two places at once, it doesn't quite qualify. If you were to sort of imbue it with the purpose of serving both as a love and a fear, you could potentially like split the bonus between the two. Like, here's something for love, here's something for fear, but it would like half the bonus for each, so it would net the same bonus basically.
Okay. Yes, I think it could fit into each component on its own, but unfortunately it can't suffice to do both at the same time.
So in this case, it just happens to be versatile enough that you can find a second thing for love or a second thing for fear, and this could potentially serve as one or the other.
Okay, what if I go to my room? Because I think at one point, I don't know if it would count this world or not. At one point, I was kind of stuck in my Fenrir form or whatever for a while. Would there be like her somewhere? Because I know the interns haven't actually cleaned anything.
Okay.
Because I know my dog sheds like crazy, and you can't get rid of it.
You go looking in your room where you've slept before, and try as you might, you kind of glance around a little bit, quick once over, and you realize that either the interns did indeed come in here and clean, or someone did. You might have to give it an investigation check to really turn the room upside down.
I'm going to do that. And I'm going to use my goggles.
Okay.
Ooh. 31.
Ooh, nice. With a 31, you basically start to pull your interior design skills out and start rearranging things in ways that allow you to like discover all of the places that you remember seeing when this room was empty, and you're like, that's where that went. Oh, hey, there's that gold piece I left that other place. Oh, here's the, like, you look around and you're like, oh, that's a handful of buttons that I meant to give Mekon, and now, well, I guess maybe I could, but he's not around. So, but you turn this place around and even find a couple of better places for your stuff to be. and you still don't find any remains of fur.
Okay.
Around this time, Ronnie, go ahead and give me a Constitution saving throw.
Yeah. $15.
Okay. It's getting on toward early morning, and you feel an oppressive weight bearing down on you. You were kind of ignoring it the last couple of hours, feeling like it was just the tiredness. But now you sense that it's actually starting to like push you down physically. And you can kind of sense like you kind of like reach up and massage your shoulders a little bit because you feel like it's actually pushing on you. As you look up to see if maybe something magical is above you, like causing some kind of disruption in the gravitational field of the key, you do actually kind of catch sight through the arcane hologram of the moon. And you recognize that it is once again realigned a lot bigger than it ought to be. And it's around this time that you remember, because you've experienced this before, when you were in the world below on the Pyrium Spire. As you woke up, you remember feeling that oppressive weight. You weren't able to see the moon at that moment, but this feels identical to the same moment when you permanently transformed into your fox form. Thankfully, this time, you do not transform. But you can feel it coming. And you can sense that as time goes on, and perhaps as the Corvians are more successful in their attempts to bring it closer to the planet, that might become more and more difficult to resist.
Cool. Like I have a bunch of crap that I'm looking through, but I don't really have a lot. Like Ronnie doesn't really have any like actual personal possessions. It's just a bunch of stuff that she uses herself. Okay. She's just going to ignore that oppressive feeling. She's going to bury it deep down and ignore it.
Great.
Because that's what she does.
Okay. Cool.
I can't remember. Did I have anything from my mom after we found her?
You did have that journal that was fabricated, the one that was falsified by Heinrich. I think you also had a letter. I think she sent you a letter at some point, if I remember. Didn't she come and visit you before you took off from Eusoria?
Yeah, and I think I gave her like a bunch of platinum pieces or something.
Right. I can't remember. Did she give you anything in that moment?
I don't think so. If she did, I didn't write it down. I don't think she did.
Ooh, okay. Ronnie, give me an insight check.
Oh, natural 20.
Ooh.
So,
okay. Yeah. You don't recall her giving you any physical objects, but there was one thing that she gave you that it had been a long time since she had given you. If you, Allison, need me to remind you, that's fine.
I know that my curse also kind of comes through my mom, but I can't like give my curse. That's why I was looking for the fox hair.
Yeah, and it's not the curse that I'm referring to. She didn't give you anything
She gave
physical.
no. No shit. That's not right.
Do you remember? Do you, Allison? Do you remember why you can transform at will?
Because she taught me how to do that.
Do you remember what it is you do in order to make that happen?
What?
Do you remember what Ronnie does in order to make that happen? There was a poem,
Yeah.
and the final word of that poem is a name.
Okay. So, could I write the name down? Would that work?
Again, you can, but anybody can write a name.
Right.
So Ronnie's kind of going to have to figure out how to make that a little more unique than just writing down a name, if she wants the maximum bonus out of it.
Yeah, because Ronnie's mom just told her about it. She didn't like write her a letter or anything like that about it.
Right. She taught her the poem, and then Ronnie memorized it and was able to recite it mentally, and then by speaking the final word, the name, she was able to make the transformation happen.
Okay. I go back to Yara and I tell her about that.
Okay.
And Dave, Ronnie only has one thing from Molly, so she's not going to get rid of it. But that's a good idea. So yeah, I tell you about the poem.
I think that'll suffice.
Would it be unique enough if I just wrote it? Or I'm afraid to kind of say it out loud, because if I say it out loud, then I'm worried that I'll change, even if I'm just saying it to tell you about it.
I think about it a bit. Why don't you write it? I won't read it. That way the item still holds value to you personally. Because it remains unique to you. I can still use the component for the ritual. I need not know what it says.
Again, since you're talking to Yara, and Yara, because you would have this knowledge, you can easily sort of communicate to her that the poem itself is pretty unique. Just using like regular ink and parchment probably would be fairly basic as far as helping to break the curse. However, if she were to use, like Yara, you're used to writing things in a grimoire using expensive materials, spell components, and so forth. If she were to say use ink made from rare materials and use a substrate that isn't just regular old parchment, maybe inscribe it into something, or take time and craft something with the poem in it, that might provide the uniqueness that she's looking for.
Okay. I don't know. I probably have some of that material with me, but if not, we'll have to wait to use Zoria for you to.
What if I used, like, this is gross, but what if I used my own blood? Because it's kind of like part of the curse.
I mean, because you have said that out loud, yeah. I mean, you think about it, you realize that Mollymock taught you how to be a blood hunter, and your blood is now magically infused. So theoretically, that is, and you do in fact administer blood curses using your own blood. So all of those ideas sort of lead you to conclude that yes, that would in fact be a very unique way to inscribe the poem.
Okay.
I have parchment quality parchment on hand because I have to have things to inscribe into my grimoire. But I don't need to provide the ink if you're willing to make the sacrifice out of your own
Yeah, I
body
could do
to
that.
inscribe the poem. Certainly, I think that would compel the curse to break easier.
And as for something I've never experienced, that's a tough one. I've kind of done a lot of stuff.
I think with two fairly powerful components, we should have a fairly good chance to break this curse if we can't decide on the third part of the triad. But we have some time. And I don't want to bore everybody else on this ship to death. We'll figure out how to
I'll
break
think
this
on
curse.
it while we're traveling. I'll try to. If anyone has any ideas, I'm open to them.
Yeah, that's a tough one because Ronnie's definitely lived a crazy
Story
life.
better.
Yeah.
I have never experienced a compassionate government.
Oh man. Okay. All right. So over the course of the next almost day, you all are able to make your way in to Euzoria. Are there any people? Yes, Chelsea.
I would just like to, during the trip, attune to both the dark and light stone.
Excellent.
Yeah. Take that over.
That all happens without issue. This is just for flavor. Which do you attune to first?
I was already attuned to the light stone, so I would just
Okay,
stick
so
with
then you
it, yeah.
okay. So as you attune to the dark stone, you do sense that there is that the light cage around the dark stone does almost become like as you attune to the dark stone, it almost does become like tactile. It becomes like a physical object for you, and you realize that whenever you hold the dark stone, the light is actually preventing you from touching the stone itself, and it serves as a barrier between. But when you make contact with the light cage, you do recognize that you have access to the stone's powers.
Nice. All right.
Speaking of which, Jareth.
He is reading a bedtime story right now.
Oh, we shall come back to Jareth.
I have a thing.
Yes, Rocky.
I'm going to give the tongue to the twins
Okay.
and say, sew this up the best that you can and put it into cold storage until I'm ready for it.
Okay, cool. That's fun. All right, they will do that. As it turns out, Jen and Jan have had lots of experience patching up their wounded crewmates. And with the experience that you have given them, with many different varieties of meats and things, they're able to do a pretty passable job of reassembling it. It looks pretty well hacked up, but repaired as best they can. There aren't going to be it's all sutures. it's chunks of tongue tied together with sutures, but they get it put back together as best they can, and they do a pretty passable job. And they'll wrap it up in some brown paper and put it in with the cold stuff.
Yep.
Rocky, would you like to borrow the alteration stone so you can have a tongue for a day?
I'm wanting to have a tongue for always.
Okay.
Yes. It's something I'll deal with later.
All right.
But while you're here, let's see, are you still blind?
I am blind, and I can unblind if I'm alteration or whatnot. But yes, I am small and blind.
You have spoken a couple of times of getting some kind of harness. I'm fine with that. I think if we're in Euphoria, maybe that would be a good chance to see if we can't round something up.
Out of character. Didn't we actually acquire a harness, or was that with the hedgemaster? What was your character's name?
Party.
Barty. There we go.
I don't think we ever actually got around to doing it.
Oh, okay.
I remember you guys talking about it when you invaded the Death Guild.
Yeah. Okay. Yes, that would be quite useful in this circumstance.
I remember what it was. Rocky, you just shapeshifted your body to have it create a chair.
Yeah, something like that. But I don't think I can do that anymore. So,
I mean, I don't see why you couldn't.
I'm a changed rock.
Well, I guess that's up to you if you don't want to try that.
I think harness would be good.
Okay. Are you, since we're already on the topic, Brand, are you interested in having Rocky try to cut your eyes open?
The Rocky part was a joke in, I think, Rocky 2. He actually gets his eye cut open, but whenever he's like puffed up and he's like, cut me. Do you remember that? Nobody remembers that?
I did not watch Rocky, so.
Kind of. I don't. Yeah. That's been too many decades ago.
There we go.
But
no.
Kudos for the reference I didn't get.
Yeah. If I did actually want to, I guess, investigate or think about would that theoretically work to just cut my eyes open and then let them heal?
Sure. Yeah, go ahead and roll Arcana. And how many talents does the Alteration Stone have right now?
6. I haven't used it today.
So you have 6 spell points. That means it's awakened, I think. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll say that the Alteration Stone can give you a +3 on this check. Go ahead and roll it'll be Arcana plus the 3.
That is a natural 1.
Okay. What does Bran think? What does Bran
It's not going to work, or I think it's definitely going to work.
I have a vision of you having Rocky help you, and like I have a knife going down for your eye, and Ronnie walks in and says, "No."
Just like
stop right there.
I mean, kind of. Yeah, we'll just make that canon, shall we? Because
Rocky,
Bran, you're like,
no,
I mean, it's just
drop
as
it.
simple as cutting my eyelids open. It's fine.
All right. So Rocky makes it into I am assuming just your hand, into a semi-sharp rock.
Yeah.
And you're just going to try and...
Yeah, Ronnie walks in and is like, whoa.
What? He asked me to do it.
Put the baby down.
Yeah, put the baby down.
No, I thought this through. It's definitely going to work.
I really don't think so.
All right. All of that happens. Jareth, now that you're back, what's your passive perception?
I believe it's a 12. Yes.
Okay, so with a 12, you're kind of chilling out in one area of the ship, watching all this go down, doing your first mating, and you're playing your instruments every now and then, cheering the crew up. Actually, go ahead and give me a performance check to see how you're doing with the morale on the crew.
Natural 20.
Ooh,
On
yes.
that 20s.
You are playing it like a jukebox. Whatever anybody shouts out, you're like, I know that one. And you're Stairway to heaven. So you're doing your, which actually kind of explains why After several hours of this, you finally sort of exhausted all of your options, and you graciously, depart the stage to go recover from, having your fingers be so occupied for the last, several hours. And you realize, at first, you think that maybe it's just the fact that you've been playing your mandolin so much, but you're starting to realize now, 10, 20 minutes pass, and the strings are still vibrating.
Okay. Anyone in particular doing? Is my string vibrating more?
Yeah, make an investigation check.
9.
9. Okay. Well, I mean, you kind of put your hand on the strings and you realize that they do kind of have a little bit of a hum to them, but you can't quite pinpoint whether it's one string or another. But you take your hand off and you can kind of hear them gently vibrating, and then you put your hand on it again and you can feel the vibration but not hear it, of course, because you're muting it with your hand.
I mean, if I pick it up, does it continue to vibrate?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you'll hold the neck in one hand and you can feel the strings. They're moving.
Has this ever happened before?
Not that you can remember.
How many stones are on the ship?
Oh, man. Okay, currently we have 14 stones. We have time, light, warp, death, protection, alteration, destruction, mind, divination, dark, weather, conjuration, and fate. Sorry, that's 13.
Okay, so quite a bit. So I know the strings are tied to the magical essence of the various bonds. Where are we geographically right now?
Sure. So you'll check with Prague, and he'll give you kind of a readout. And it looks like you're getting close to the ley line that intersects with the with where Eusoria would be. You're coming in from the south, and you would imagine that it's getting close to that area.
I'll just keep kind of watching it. And does it get stronger the closer we get?
It doesn't seem like over time as you travel that it's necessarily getting stronger.
Prague, how far are we from Eusoria?
He looks over at Astra and she says, "Oh, dice, ¿cuánto tiempo dura para llegar?" He says, "Oh, llegamos en unas horas." He says, "We are several hours out."
And the ship is not vibrating, is it?
No more than it is anyway. Yeah, you haven't noticed anything peculiar.
I will go seek out Yara.
Okay. It seems to intensify the closer you get to her. And you start to feel it now that you're sort of holding on to it. You can feel the strings kind of vibrating more with more force. And as you sort of let go of them, you can now hear that they're starting to hum in almost like like, you know how guitar strings sound once you've strummed them and then you just let them kind of gradually die out? It's like that, but it's not dying out. And the closer you get to Yara, the stronger the sound is becoming, and you now can hear it. We'll call this a performance check.
Yeah, you're talking about harmonic resonance.
Correct.
What was that check again?
Performance. This will represent your knowledge of sound and music.
14.
Okay. You recognize that the harmonics that you're hearing from your strings right now are identical to the ones that you remember hearing when the visitor of the voice grasped all of your fate strands in one hand.
Wow. And it's getting stronger as I get closer to Yara.
Yes.
Yara, can you explain this?
Explain. This time I don't know what he's talking.
Well, for some reason, when we were fighting the fate, the stranger in control of the fate stone, I noticed whenever it grasped our fate lines, I heard a sound, a resonant tone, similar, and I'll just strum a chord on my mandolin and something like this. If you're not musically inclined. And then I'll take my hands off the strings, except it sounded more like this. And I just hold it. I'll hold the mandolin head to body.
Yeah.
So that it's free to vibrate on its own.
Right.
I'm not doing this. The sound that's coming out of it is emanating on its own. And I'll hold it closer. I'll just like literally shove it in his face.
Okay. Yeah, and as it gets closer to you physically, Yara, you actually do now hear like it's as if somebody has just strummed this mandolin and the strings are vibrating loudly at this harmonic frequency that he's been describing.
Yeah, really sure off the top of my head what caused that. Do I know what this thing to do with their encounter with Bruce and our fate?
Sure. So I didn't catch all that because you were breaking up, but I think you're saying, do I know what would cause this?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, let's call it an Arcana check with advantage.
Five. So I got a 50.
So you got a what now?
5 on the roll.
5 on the roll. Oh, man.
No, 25.
Oh, 25. Thank you.
Yeah, sorry. My coach is doing awful things in the evening. I don't know. But anyway.
So 25. You deduce almost immediately what's going on. The reason the visitor of the voice was able to accomplish what she did was because she essentially was able to interact with the fate lines on a physical level because she held the fate stone at that moment. And as you know that you have attuned to the fate stone, the closer you get to the strings on this mandolin, you realize immediately what those strings are. They're all fate lines. They're all fate lines of different people, and they're all resonating with one another because of that. One of them, of course, is Jareth's. The rest belong to you do not know whom, but you recognize that because you currently are attuned to the fate stone, that's what's causing these to vibrate. It's literally the proximity to the fate stone that's causing these fate lines to vibrate the way they are.
Neat.
Yes, it's a rather bit of a peculiar side effect of being in this close proximity to the fate stone.
Wait, so you're saying I'm actually walking around with other people's fate in my literal hands?
It would
I
appear
thought it was
so.
just a tiny bit of essence we all poured into this thing. Oh, I don't even want to think about what happens when I break a string. I mean, it already hurts like a son of a bitch, but
Yara, what would
does
your
this mean
passive?
every time I play the instrument that somebody is like feeling weird someplace in the world?
I mean, you think back to the number of times you've played it, and you realize that you haven't felt weird every time you strum your own Fate Strand.
Well,
But
yes, it's me strumming it.
yes, what I mean to say though is that it's because it's been bound to the mandolin, and because, like, as you're aware how instruments work, it's tightened at the top, tightened at the bottom. There's something preventing the vibration from leaving the instrument, so you wouldn't feel it because the instrument itself is absorbing it and redirecting it outward.
Mhm.
Yara, what's your passive insight? 10 plus insight.
Just 11, I believe.
Okay. You do recall that when you attuned to the Fate Stone, it didn't feel right in your hands.
Yes, the Fate Stone, I've noticed differently from the other stones, seems to have either a peculiar affinity for who it attunes to. I'm not quite sure why it's like this versus the other stones. I get a feeling of things not being right or correct when I attune to the Fate Stone. I haven't exactly had this experience before with the other stone attunements that I've used so far.
Does Jareth know that this is Ultimate Universe, Yara?
Ultimate.
I mean, I feel like given the amount of time you guys have traveled together and the fact that Ronnie did a pretty good job of like doing the info dump on her, it's gotten around unless you've been trying to hide it.
Okay. Um,
I'm like Yara Prime.
Yeah.
I wonder if it has to do if it's because if you're from a different reality than this one.
Shouldn't all of us be having the same effect, though, if that's the case? It sounds like we're all from that particular version.
And Chad, to remind you as a player, you do remember Ronnie saying that it didn't feel right in her hands either.
Yes, so any of us who try to attune to the Fate Stone, the Fate Stone probably knows that we are outside our own particular line. Or it can sense that anyways. That's my out of game, in game logic. I'm guessing the Fate Stone is the only stone that's aware that we're not quite we're not on our own fate threads at this point.
Right.
Well, let me see it.
Whoop! I'll hand it over.
Okay.
That's the Fate Stone sound. Whoop!
we've now established the sound of Fate Stone when it gets handed over. Jareth, you hold on to it, and you're not entirely sure what Yara's talking about. In your hand, it actually feels right. It actually causes all of the strings, as at the moment that you hold on to it, it causes all the strings to now simultaneously quiet their physical vibration, and suddenly that sound now transfers directly into your mind. And it's not disturbing or distracting. It's not, it's not annoying in any sense. It's like suddenly having your ears opened to something that was always there, but you didn't quite focus on it hard enough to realize that it was. And now that you're holding the Fate Stone, you can now almost sense some invisible fabric sort of moving around you, and you're moving through it. It's like staring at something you know is there, but not being able to see it. And you sense how Yara is interacting with this fabric at this moment, and you can sort of feel sort of gentle ripples coming off of her. It's like you're sensing how each individual begins to interact with and change the fate around them.
Interesting. Yes, I don't think you were supposed to have this.
Well, very well then.
Because I can see, I can, I don't know, were you able to kind of, everything just kind of feels right now. Like I can kind of see where everything is supposed to be. Do you mind if I hold on to this?
No, by all means, go ahead.
Okay, I'll go ahead and attune to it.
Okay. So you take the next hour.
I'll use it as a slide on the mandolin.
Okay.
Nice.
You think about that. Okay. Okay. As you attune to the Fate Stone, give me a performance check.
A rolled 20.
Oh, nice. As you begin to sort of interact with it, and you're now using it like a slide on the mandolin, as you say, you start to realize that whenever the Fate Stone touches a bare fate thread, you gain a vision, very much like the Fate Dream that you were in, and then were able to very easily maneuver out of. Again, it's almost like, again, looking at something you know is there without seeing it, you start to sense the variations in the weave. And you're actually able to kind of, as you're touching not only your own, but also the threads of others who have woven their fate to this mandolin, you're able to sort of start sensing sort of generally the vector upon which they are traveling fate-wise, whether their fate is moving in a beneficial direction or a bad one, whether they're making good choices or bad ones. You're also able to kind of sense a little bit preemptively about the benefit or the ill that might come from a specific action, and anticipate that. Like, you start walking around the ship and kind of noticing how people are moving around and observing them, and you anticipate when somebody's about to stub their toe, or when somebody's moving something large around and it pokes somebody and by surprise, and they sort of jump in sort of a startled way. It's not a time kind of thing. Like, you aren't seeing into the future. It's more like a sense of what might happen and like cause and effect. So after all of this process of kind of learning how the Fate Stone works, and specifically in conjunction with your mandolin, you notice that the mandolin begins to change shape a little bit. And in the head where the pegs are to tighten the strings, you see that the wood begins to split and forms a new cavity that appears to perfectly fit the Fate Stone.
Sweet. Got a head weight.
So when not in use, you are able to slot the Fate Stone into your mandolin and treat both the mandolin and the Fate Stone as one attunement.
Awesome.
In addition, so long as you play the mandolin as part of a long rest, you can roll a d20, and then within the next 24 hours, you can replace any one roll, anyone rolls, with that d20 roll that you rolled.
Ooh, cool.
And when you activate that ability, you would, of course, use your mandolin to make that happen.
Right.
So we're going to call this ability Tug Fate. And you are now attuned to the Fate Stone.
Sweet. You said that was during a short rest or a long rest?
During a long rest. If you play your mandolin during a long rest, you can roll a d20 and then replace any d20 roll between now and the next 24 hours, or basically until you take another long rest. So, Bran, I can't remember, just checking because I'm trying to take inventory. Did you take the Conjuration Stone?
I attempted to and was thwarted/swatted.
Oh, I thought we did give him the Conjuration Stone.
No,
Oh,
you
I
smacked me
guess
and-
we did it. I did smash you because you were trying to grab it during the fight or whatever.
Yeah, apparently it was a bad time.
I don't see any reason why you can't have it now.
Yara's just giving it away. You get a Spirit Stone, and you get a Spirit Stone. You get a Spirit Stone.
Thank you. Does everyone actually have 2 or 3?
I'm just glad to finally be back with everybody after all this time.
Too real, man. Too real. Yeah, so my records show that Jareth has the Time Stone as well as the Fate Stone now. I see that.
I normally leave the stone slotted in the ship.
Okay, very good. But for the sake of attunements, you would have it available if you chose to take it. Hero now has the Light Stone and Dark Stones. Ronnie has the Warp and Death Stones attuned, if I remember correctly.
I have the Warp and Mind Stone.
Warp and
I
Mind
gave
Stone.
Yara the Death Stone.
Okay. So Yara now has the Death Stone. Are you attuned to that, Yara, or you just have it?
I'm not attuned to it. I specifically am a bit weary of. You both are using the Death Stone
Right.
because it's still outlawed magic.
Yeah. So Finny is the Protection Stone. Bran, you've got Alteration and now Conjuration.
Fun.
I assume you
when
attune
I
to it.
receive that, I would like to attune to it, but
Okay, yeah, you're fine to attune to it.
Fine.
Rocky has and is the Destruction Stone. Yara, theoretically, Ronnie has the Divination Stone, unless she would like to give it to you.
Oh yeah, I gave Yara the Divination Stone back.
Okay.
I
Prague
gave
has
her all of her stuff back and all of me. Everything that I found in the pile.
Yeah.
I gave back to her.
We've got a really just bad habit of picking up stuff out of people's ashes and handing it on to the next.
It's your stuff. I'm just giving it back. You want me to keep it?
This stuff, yeah, it's just here. We'll just take this stuff out of Mekon's ashes. Now we'll take it out of Yar's ashes and
You want me to leave that stuff behind? That's some powerful stuff. I'm just gonna
I
leave
think
it.
I think the real problem is that there's been so many ashes.
Yeah,
Like,
we just need a Hoover vacuum the next time. That'll just
Oh, no.
speed this process up a bit.
It's the next artifact level magic item, the Hoover vacuum of collection.
Yeah.
Nice. No, Hero definitely did not inherit all of Kathy's stuff.
That's true.
That's different.
Okay. So bringing it back around, I think that accounts for all the stones. Are you attuning to the divination stone, Yara? Okay. Bran,
Yes.
when you attune to the conjuration stone, you sense that the stone has already had its talents chosen. It comes with 2 talents and 3 spell points, and the 2 talents are the altered size talent taken twice.
1 second. There we go. There we are. All right. We have conjuration. You said 2 talents, 3 points.
2 talents, 3 points. It has the altered size talent taken twice.
Altered size. Alrighty.
And I'm passing along for your reference a collection of images that I sent to Chad for his reference. You get the sense that there is, in fact, a specific companion as well that has already been, so to speak, how would you say this? Contracted, obligated, obliged to come when called. And what I'm sending you now is the stats for that creature. It counts as a celestial.
Cool.
With a couple of alterations because of the altered size. So, and then I will send you a picture of the companion that you would summon and a little bit more information. Meanwhile, you all appear to be approaching Euzoria, and we'll go ahead and take a 5-minute break real quick before we enter, and we can pick up when you all decide how to approach.
I'm trying to remember what wolf did we help.
All right.
What wolf did you help?
You said it was the wolf that we helped. Like, what enchanted wolf did we help?
Oh, sorry. I apologize. The comments that I gave you were the ones that I gave to Chad. So it was the wolf that he helped.
Oh, well, Chad, do you want this back? I feel like there's more of a connection there.
Oh, yeah. That whole bit. So I think the wolf was the like a nature spirit protector of the Renai Forest or something like that.
Yeah, there was a specific section of the Renai Forest, the part that you visited. If you would like, you're welcome to kind of recount the tale. I left it in your messenger, so you can go back and look at it whenever you need to.
Yeah, I think I went over it, I think, last session a little bit. Let me pull it up again.
Mhm.
I don't remember the factions. So essentially, I pinged in on the location of one of the stones, which was in the Renai Forest one that we just hadn't gotten to around yet in the other group. And I apparently just walked into a three-way war faction between three different. I'm trying to remember what they were. Let me pull it up.
There were satyrs, minotaurs, and then there was a Servian dendrite who I speak for the trees, and was trying to protect the forest from the other two who were basically coming in and trying to elbow the others out.
Yeah, so after, I don't know, we don't know if we decided exactly how. So yeah, I got involved in that. Basically, they were all trying to claim the forest for their own, and then the protective spirit manifested themselves and used the power of the conjuration stone to basically summon the trees on the march, and drive out all the satyrs and minotaurs.
And so for Yara's help in that process, the enchanted wolf gifted her the conjuration stone. And now that enchanted wolf is the one that will come when called. It's the conjuration stone's companion.
Quite cool. When visiting with this wolf, it has a connection to you, Yara, which I will not interfere with. And I'll hand the stone back to Yara.
Very well. I know that you had been searching wide and far for this stone because of your affinity with the sphere, but if you believe that it has more of an intimate connection to me, I will keep it under my good graces and protection, of course.
Of course.
Wolf attack! Yeah!
So something
that the stats I'm thinking ridiculous.
Something that you that Jareth actually will realize over the course of his attunement to the Fate Stone is that like other magical sort of conduits, it's fairly common. Yara will know this, obviously, that that gemstones in general are used as sort of mana batteries, so to speak. Specific types of gemstone are attuned to specific spheres of power, to specific elemental energies. So it's good to kind of get a selection of what exactly works best for the magic you're attempting to perform. But all that being said, because they're very frequently integrated into magical items, Jareth has kind of accidentally discovered that your attunement to these stones could very well be integrated into magical items to allow them to take up fewer attunements, basically. So while each of you could theoretically attune to 3 stones each and then nothing else, you could integrate that stone into some magical item that you already possess or perhaps create, and then you would be able to attune to that item and therefore the stone in the meantime. this was actually something that the original cast of the Rockettes also discovered because you had them integrated into objects. I think, Bran, didn't you have yours made into like a shirt?
It was sewn into it just so I wouldn't lose it.
Right. And I think one of them got made into a ring or an amulet or something. Ronnie, wasn't yours, the warp stone, wasn't that made into a ring?
Yes.
Okay. So, yeah, just putting it out there in case anybody wanted to, you know, conceptualize a magical item that could have their stone integrated into it. That would be something you could explore.
You know, actually, the time stone, Kathy put it into like a piece of hand jewelry that connected with chains to the fingers. So I don't know if you kept that.
Yeah, it's like a chain ring, and then it kind of goes down and attaches to the wrist. Yeah. So, you all approach Eusoria. You're coming in from.
I am at the just one of the portholes because I'm excited to be at a big city. And
Yes.
Just looking out. I just have it open. I'm just watching as we get closer.
Oh, this is your first time singing Eusoria. How exciting!
Yeah, sure. I'm not actually sure if it's my first time at a big city, but for this time around, it sure is.
Well, I thought you said you hadn't been to Eusoria at all.
Yep.
Okay. That's what my impression was anyway, so I'm just going to keep going with it.
No, you're right.
Perfect.
All right.
So
we do our attack run as we come in. Pew 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 pew.
The sentinels immediately respond.
Yeah.
Everyone takes to the air. That's a dog fight.
Everybody's like, "Oh, it's the heroes again back in town."
Oh no! You guys,
why?
Where previously the Rockettes had approached from the east, this time they are approaching from the south. So you are flying toward New Southgate, which, if you have forgotten, oh man, I gotta add more maps. Who has the map of Eusoria?
Wouldn't we go where all the airships go to dock?
Yeah.
I don't even know where the airships were supposed to dock. We came in last time.
There's a spot in Eusoria where there's airships.
Didn't we always we always parked outside the walls with our last ship though?
Yeah.
And it was,
I thought there was a dock. There was a little area for them.
Last time we were in the northeast because we had to smuggle her in.
Right, you guys did want to smuggle her in.
Also, are we? I know we're already there, but retroactively, are we just rolling up in the spaceship, or are we making it invisible? What are we What are we doing? Everyone's gonna know we're back.
Yeah, I don't.
We want that. Ronnie doesn't want that, but.
Yar suggests reporting progress to the council and then seeing information on the. I hate to call it this, but the magical network that Mekon had set up, where there's information coming in about different points of conflict with the Corvians and the Lord of Darkness and the weather phenomenon and whatnot. While I do think is good to be concerned about the fact that we're just rolling back in the weapon. The ship's taking a lot of damage, and I don't think we can repair it ourselves. It's taken a beating. One of the spire shots is completely missing. I don't know where else we could go to get those repairs done.
No, we need to be here, but it's going to be a noticed arrival. You know? There's going to be lots of questions.
Yes, and we'll just do all the paperwork and do it all official report everything, right?
What do you mean report everything?
report on our
What are you
progress.
reporting?
Report on the progress that's been made. I mean, I'm not entirely up to date, of course.
Were we supposed to be answering to someone? I thought they were just like ignoring us and we were trying to do this all on our own. We were independent contractors or something.
The council invested quite a bit of resources, and they've also helped recommission the war tower. What? It's called the Dominion now.
Mm,
I think we owe it to them to give them a report on their progress.
That's fine. But I guess.
That's fine, but it's not fine.
that's fine, but I'm upset about it.
Like, I'm like, hey, here's all this stuff we did. And they're just being like, cool, go do more stuff. There's like, I'm just mostly worried about everyone seeing us arrive. And a lot of people asking questions and a lot of people like, it's like, I'm worried about people trying to steal the ship.
Well, maybe
That
making
kind of
a big
thing.
entrance should be the point. Maybe if we draw attention to it, it's not subtle. The end of the world isn't subtle.
What if
They need to know.
we don't actually have to land or dock or whatever? We can just get off the ship and the crew can just go fly it around in a holding pattern.
Yeah, we need it repaired. Don't we have a stealth mode? Can't we stealth mode in and then dock it and get it repaired? Does that sound good?
I don't know. Does one of the stones give us that power? I don't remember all the stone socket powers off the top of my head. But
I mentioned one of them has to be a stealth dome. Come on.
The
I
illusion
can
stone will allow
teleport
you
us
to become
there,
invisible.
like, boom, just we just arrive, we disappear.
we don't have the illusion stone though.
Correct.
So no, we don't have any way to do that. All right, if enough of the group puts up red flags about just going in, then I will acquiesce and say perhaps we should just have us dropped off outside of town, and then we can talk to the council and about the need for discretion on the repairs.
Yeah, isn't there like a wooded area?
Yeah, what we use.
If you will refer to your classroom, you will see that there is now a new post for the map of Usoria. There is a city map and a region map. On the region map, you can see that there are several wooded areas that are outside of town. The nearest one is probably near the east gate, although there are some pretty wide open plains to the south as well, if you wanted to just get some distance between you. There isn't an air dock, but there is a water dock on the Lingua do Norte, the river that goes south of Usoria. And it's, I don't know, comes away from the road out of the south gate and then to the east a little bit, links up with the river. So you have some options.
Why don't we try to park it in that wooded area to the east, and we can like kind of try to camouflage it in the trees a little bit. Have the crew stay on board, and they are to take off if there's any sign of funny business. And then we go in on foot and then try to get clearance to bring it into the city or to have people come out work on it discreetly.
Okay, that sounds reasonable to me.
Because I don't think how long we've walked through those woods before. How long does it take to get out there?
Yeah, I mean it's a maybe solid 30 minutes to an hour. I mean, it depends on how quickly you can get through the gate. There's usually a pretty thick caravan going through, although it is getting on toward sundown, so most of the heavy traffic is probably gone at this point. You'd be looking at least a 30-minute walk and then maybe a 15-minute processing.
Does that sound okay to everybody?
Lilith.
Where are we eating tonight? You have to pick. I picked last night.
Let's park it and then walk.
The whole I guess what tavern we're gonna go to while we're in town.
Wait, yeah, you're breaking up again.
Yeah, I had to step away for a bit. Did we decide to let Kathy know we were coming?
I don't know if we can really let anyone know that we're coming until they touch the Mind Stone. There's not really a way to let anyone know. Oh, well, Kathy might work on Kathy.
Okay, so
I
that's
can
enough.
try. I should be all charged up again, right?
Yeah, you've had your long rest, so.
I just really want to see Chelsea play two characters at the same time.
I was really shooting to have Chad do it last time, but that didn't happen.
Well, I did have a side quest where I role played with myself. That was kind of strange.
It was pretty great. All right, so you want to send a message to Kathy?
Yes.
All right, go ahead and use your 25 words.
All right. Hey, Kathy, we're rolling up. Is there room at the inn? Or are you all booked up? I had a better. This is Ronnie, by the way.
Does Kathy receive the message? Yeah.
Kathy does receive the message, yes.
Beep. Please leave a message.
Is there any reason there wouldn't be room at the inn?
I mean, you can sort of decide yourself, and I'm open to your suggestions. You and I have role played extensively about what her intentions were, right. And we both know sort of her status with the city, so that's kind of up to you, I guess.
Okay. And the last question: would she know anything about? Actually, Ronnie didn't say anything about a ship. Okay. No, wait. She knows the ship exists.
Yes.
Okay. Do I know anything about parking ships in the city, or anything about that I can?
Ooh, excellent. Go ahead and roll a hypothetical history check for Kathy, and we'll say you can add 5 to this.
Oh man, is this alternate Kathy or?
It's technically alternate Kathy.
Yeah, it's technically alternate Kathy, isn't it?
That's a 10.
That's a 10.
Kathy's knowledge of the workings of the city have been pretty limited to just the Light Guild and the Order of the White Sun. So she doesn't really know like city protocols right now.
Okay. All right, she will respond. It feels like it's been forever. I have rooms here for everyone at the mansion. Just knock 3 times when you arrive. And that'll be it. Unless there's a reason that the walls are locked down that I should warn them about. But I guess Kathy wouldn't know because she's pretty focused on that section of the city. But
I mean, yeah, she does have her responsibilities, and they are pretty limited. But yeah, no, she doesn't know of anything that's immediately threatening the city or why the gates should be shut down.
Cool. Well, that will be it. I will not use the rest of the words.
All right.
All right, guys, we at least have somewhere to stay tonight.
Are the beds
Oh
soft?
shit, I didn't tell her Mekon was dead. I feel that's something you do in person, though. We'll do that in person.
All right. So you all park. You approach the east gate. It sounds like you're walking westward from your hidden location. You remove any stones you wish. What would you like the crew to do? And Astra specifically, she'll ask sort of what the holding pattern is until you guys come back.
I mean, really, just don't touch anything. We'll be right back.
Don't let anyone on the ship that's not us. The ship will know if it's us or not.
Very well. Which stones are you taking with you?
I'm going to take the warp stone and the mind stone with me.
Okay.
I'm taking both
Both
of mine.
mine.
All right.
I guess I'll take the divination, the death stone, and the conjuration stone.
So maybe there should be
Make
more
it with-
specifically, who's leaving something behind? Time stone has already said he's leaving there in the key. So light is going, warp is going, death is going.
I would leave the death stone if nobody's gonna complain about it this time.
Finney's going with you, Bran.
Yep.
The alteration stone, I take it Bran will take with him. Rocky is the destruction stone. The mind stone is going with Ronnie. Yara will take the divination stone. Hero will take the dark stone. Prague still has the weather stone. Yara, did you attune to the conjuration stone?
I assume after Bran gave it to me, I would, yes.
Okay. And are you leaving that in the key or taking it with?
I will take it with me.
Okay. And then Jareth has the fate stone. Great. So the only two stones left in the key are the time stone and the death stone.
And the weather stone.
And the weather stone because Prague has it. Yes, thank you. All right. Great. Okay. So the Astra will immediately assume command and begin ordering everybody around. And you hear almost immediately upon leaving that the loud clangs familiar to your resident goblin. He's beginning to enact repairs on the key. And within about a 10-minute walk, you can no longer hear the bangs and clangs coming from the sort of gradually repaired dents and so forth. You meet up with the main road, and you see that there's a couple of thin lines of travelers that are making their way in, sort of trying to get in by the sort of curfew. And you join them and make it to the gate. The gate guard is there, sort of checking people in, and there's several other. There's like a sentinel piece nearby, and they kind of usher people through. You know, take whatever money for their entrance fee and so forth. As you may recall, the last time you visited Usoria, there's quite a large hill that makes up the main ward of the city, and then there is a wall that goes below that, and then another wall that goes below that. The citadel up top on the hill can be seen from quite a distance away, and then as far out as this entrance to the city, there's a very large stone arch that appears to be what remains of a tall wall. The wall now long since collapsed. It would be fairly easy for anybody to hop the wall and run in, of course, which is why they have such a heavy guard presence out here to make sure that people are going in by the appropriate channels. So as you all approach, is there anything you would like to specifically do in advance? Is there one person speaking for all of you, or are you going through as individuals? How do you want to do this?
Mount up with Rocky.
I would like to disguise myself.
Okay.
Oh yeah, it's been a while.
Describe your disguise.
I am inspired, and I am going to be a turtle.
Okay. A turtle of any particular description?
I'm going to be a red slider.
Okay. Right. Compared to Ronnie, larger or smaller?
Same height, but wider.
Okay. Right, because of the shell. Okay.
I'm going to also disguise myself.
Okay.
I'm going to use my wait. Do I have a? I have a forgery kit, not a disguise kit. Bleh. Well, let's see. I didn't get this hat in Zoria, so I'll just keep the brim down low, because there might be someone here who's pissed off at me.
Okay. You lower.
Oh wait, that's a different reality. That's right. Maybe in this reality, this Jareth wasn't sending that one guy messages every night.
I forgot all about that crap. Who was that guy's name? You were
I
just
can't remember. He's the head of the Thieves Guild.
That was hilarious.
Starts with a G.
Oh, I
Sorry.
remembered him. Yeah.
I'd have to go dig out my notebook.
Did you just got bored and forgot to keep sending him messages at some point?
I can't do it anymore. So.
Oh.
Right.
All right. So we have a red snapper turtle.
Red slider.
Red slider turtle.
Red snapper.
And
Red snapper's a fish.
thank you. Yes, I knew it was something. I was like, that's not what it was. And then Jareth is just lowering his hat, hoping to not be noticed by a hypothetical possible Thieves Guild leader, whom he was harassing with message spells. Anybody else doing anything in preparation?
No, I'm not wearing a disguise or anything.
Rocky is boldly marching in in all of his gemstone glory.
Yeah, with Bran on my shoulder, I think.
Yep.
Awesome. All right. Hero walks in. Hero, your first time in the city. Everybody else has been here except you. And you take in the sights and you recognize that there's something significant about the fact that your entrance happens immediately on the heels of your own physical transformation. And as the sun sets, you notice significantly that immediately next to the citadel on the hill, the citadel is being illuminated by what appears to be a slightly smaller cathedral. You suspect filled itself with a source of magical light. And shines like a lighthouse, like a beacon in the ever-increasing darkness.
I will mentally mark that to visit.
All right. You all enter the city. You pay your nominal fee if you are disguised. If you are not, you are recognized as emissaries of the Citadel. And you enter the city. You're able to navigate as well as you might. So those of you who remember having been here before, there's the Sanctum Gate, which is also synonymous for the ward in which the Citadel is found. There's Old South Gate, which is also synonymous for the sort of central area, which includes the Vulgar Unicorn, the Mine Guild, Weather Guild, Fate Guild, Frozen Mansion, and then the to be refurbished or already has been refurbished Dominion Guild. And then Southgate, which is the southernmost ward, that has all of the other guilds that are in that area. Southgate, is under construction, and Old Southgate, the one in the middle, is where most of the sort of metropolitan activity happens. Very few people, if any, certainly not the public, just general public, would be allowed into Sanctum Gate. So you expect most of your action to be found in Old Southgate. So you are able to enter Eastgate, and you pass a number of people, all sort of milling about, going in and out of taverns and bars. You notice that there's a very alluring smell of cooked food, and you realize now that you've been surviving on rations for you can't remember how long. You smell yak meat, and you smell figs, and you smell the familiar scent of rum coming from the nearby taverns and bars.
Well, hold on. There hasn't been that much ration.
Rocky's been cooking for us, and it's been decent.
He did make you that one really good meal, yes.
Yeah. Just like a couple days ago.
And he got those other guys to make us chili and sandwiches.
That's true. All the same, yes, we got to make sure Rocky feels better because he has been doing a great job as cook, even though he can't taste anything. So there's that. For now. For now. So you pass by one particular tavern called The Warren, Warryn, and out of it you see stumbling many happy and boisterous individuals, all sort of wobbling off together into the night. And as the door opens, you hear the melodies of bards playing the night away. Where would you guys like to go?
Hey, Ronnie.
Don't use my name. What?
I was wondering why you were doing that. Can I have some money? I want to find the staff. There'd be staff here, right?
You actually hear Jareth chuckle from the back.
I turn my pockets because I don't even have a copper. I am literally broke.
Well, Hero, I would have money to give you, but right now I just have a bunch of crap that I have to sell for money.
Oh.
Am I still having
to do that first, and then I can give you your cut since you joined us.
Okay.
What's that, Dave?
Am I still having to be mediation, like the interpreter services?
Oh yeah.
Yes, you are still telepathic telephone operator.
All right.
I suggest that we try to alleviate your condition, Ronnie, so that you can go deal with fencing those goods. Let's go to the War Tower. I mean, yes, everybody tells me it's called Dominion Tower now. Never going to get used to that. I say we go there, and I'll see if I can put together the ritual, get the necessary components and supplies to supplement. I'm going to use healing crystals on you and chakras, and we'll get that curse right off you.
Right.
Essential oils. Oh, man.
I still need to figure out what I haven't experienced. I say way too loudly.
Yes, and you see that there are several there's a parrot folk and there's an owl folk having a little sort of bowl of seeds that they're sort of nibbling on together, and they look over in your direction, and you can see them kind of cocking their heads to the side and looking at you as you pass by.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm-
we can go to the tower. I did tell Kathy we were coming to the mansion though, so we better stop by there afterward.
I have a thought. What about some arcane scrolls that I have? You've never experienced casting a spell.
I have used scrolls before.
Have you used scrolls?
Yeah. I can use magic items.
Ronnie?
Darn.
Oh, I mean, I don't use her name. I almost do. I stopped
No,
myself having to.
just keep doing it. It's hilarious.
I can't hear it, so.
Oh, that's true.
She can't stop you.
Through Rocky, I will ask Ronnie. Have you ever, like, given money to like a beggar?
I mean, I'm giving some to you later, aren't I?
That was
Ronnie,
good.
just for your saltiness, bump your inspiration die. That's amazing.
I mean, yes. I'll just walk off then after that.
Oh, great.
Yara writes some notes. Perhaps experiencing humility.
Ooh. Oh.
You don't know my life.
When was the last time you were humble, Ronnie?
Probably about the time I got kicked out on the street because my dad was murdered, and then the government took my house in possession when I was a child.
You know, at this point, I'm probably going to only translate about half of what we're asking me through to her.
Yes. Oh,
Before Hero walks off, Rocky will hold out his hand and drop 20 rupees out of his hand.
okay.
Here you go. Have fun, kid. Don't spend it all in one place.
But-
I give Rocky a few knuckle taps on his arm, and then I'll go to the nearest shop I see. But
Yeah.
Then you realize that Rocky got confused about stuff and words again, and he just gave you a bunch of pieces of tongue.
Apple. Oh,
They're both red chunks, right? Look the same.
Fine. It's just one is squishy and one is hard. It
Yeah.
spins this.
Well, everything is squishy to Rocky, right? So I don't know. I'm really getting flummoxed on. Ronnie has done quite a bit of crazy things.
okay, here's an idea I had, and I don't know if it would work. Ronnie has been knocked unconscious a few times, but she has never died.
oh my gosh.
Would death be something she has not experienced? Even though she has killed a lot of stuff, that's different. That's a different end of it.
Bran has raising her hand in the classroom. What do you?
The separation of her spirit from her body.
Yeah.
Do you actually bring that up?
Do I?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Rocky's going to say no.
Oh.
No, that is not going to happen.
I wouldn't actually die. It would be a symbol of it. I think is the idea.
Just to Ronnie, in her head, not to everyone, we've lost too many people already.
Okay, fine. Maybe come up with a better idea, and then I walk away.
You may be onto something, but I can't think of a good physical representation of that.
I mean, you got the Death Stone, but we can't let it be consumed by the spell. Oh
Yeah,
no, you left that behind.
And the alternative has
I
Ronnie
still
Ray
have
created life.
no, I have not.
Would you like to? And I hand her a seed.
That is the best fake out ever.
I love it.
Oh man. Bump your inspiration
Really,
down.
like
That was
you've
great.
done so many things, but you've never created anything. You never.
Ronnie's looking like she's gonna like punch you in the face, and then you get out the
Allison
like,
is
seed laying.
actually crying.
Let's add to that death count. All right.
Didn't well,
Ronnie just like bends over halfway to meet you in the eyes, and just
You mean my closed eyes?
yeah.
Yeah,
You get a turtle death glare that you can't see.
but I can
Nice.
smell. I can tell you're right in front of me.
I could smell your rage.
Stinky turtle breath.
Yeah.
And
Sorry.
then I pluck the seed from your hand. I was like, I don't think this is unique enough, but it's a good idea.
What was you going to say, Chelsea?
Yeah, actually, I couldn't remember. Did Kathy leave her seed with all her stuff?
She.
Oh, yeah, you're
Like a
seedling. I
note
forgot about that, too.
to plant
You
it
buried
somewhere?
that in the desert. You planted that in that freaky desert.
I don't remember. No, I think I wanted to, but I.
No, you did.
Are you sure?
Yes,
I don't remember. All right.
I do. So I was like, that's gonna be one fucked up kid.
Well, see, that's why. That's why she did it. Or she wanted to do it initially, but I don't remember actually pulling the trigger on it.
Maybe you just kept thinking. I don't know. I remember
it
you
was,
doing
it was an
but that was
idea that she had, but I don't
that
know
was a
if she-
while ago. I think you did.
We'll have to revisit somehow. I don't think she would have taken it with her because she would have not expected a chance to plant it in the city. So
So, Hero, you take your 20 rupees and you dash into the nearest shop.
yeah, I don't even check to see what it is. I just go in.
Okay. It does turn out to be the Warren, but you notice that this is actually a like the Warren is a big tavern, but then off to the side there's also a general store. So you see like the Warren, and underneath it says like ale house, and then to the side it says the Warren essentials and more.
Cool.
So you want to jump into the general store
Yeah.
side? Okay.
Is it gonna be like one of those gas stations that has like all the tourist stuff? I want to look for like a really bland like walking stick. My intention is to find a quarterstaff, but it doesn't have to be anything special.
Okay. All right. So you look around to see what's there. You see that there's like a tinder box. You've got like signet rings, like super basic ones, like not the kind that come from like noble houses, but like you find one that's like a skull, one is a flame, one is a bird, one is a sun, this kind of thing.
Yeah.
There's sealing wax, you have tankards. You actually see that there is in fact a wand that appears to be legitimately magical. It appears to come from the Illusion Guild. There's a collection of sling bullets, a big block of salt, a hammer with some iron spikes sold in a set, and then like a jug, like a pitcher. If you're looking specifically for a walking stick, like a quarterstaff, go ahead and roll 3d6, and let's see if you find that among all the rest of the objects.
446.
446. Excellent. You do, in fact, find a little corner where they have a selection of 4 different quarterstaffs. They are made of different kinds of wood. One is made of sycamore, one of walnut, one of rosewood, and one of oak.
What's the strongest of those woods? The least likely to break. I don't think Hero would know anything about wood.
The mighty oak.
Make a nature check. Make a nature check.
Oh God. Ooh, 20.
Okay.
Not that.
So as you've thought about your experience out in the wild, you have had quite a long time to sort of wander around and so forth. You think about it a little bit, and you feel like probably something in the oak range is going to be the most resilient.
Cool. That's good enough for me. I'm gonna grab that and take it to the people who seem like they're in charge. And my
Okay.
20 rupees, and hope that this is enough.
Yes. So you bring your new oak walking stick to the counter. Mm-hmm. And the person at the counter, I'm actually legitimately finally using my places generator. I'm really excited about that. It's been way too long. So you see a female cat folk behind the counter, and she has kind of a grimy look to her. She's wearing sort of an informal wardrobe. She looks at you, and she kind of looks you up and down, and she says, my. What a strange person to be coming into the One Tree's shop. Just the oak staff today, darling?
Yes. Also, that's slightly rude.
Oh?
Do I?
How so?
You called me strange.
Well, aren't you? You're not from around here, I would imagine. Never seen anyone like you before.
Well, that's true. I've only seen like one of you, so.
Touché?
Do I know how much a rupee is in gold?
I don't know. What would Hero know? I guess you spent most of your time in the monastery, so.
Yeah, I don't know. How much is this in rupees?
Well, that would be, and she sort of starts to pull the rupees aside, and she pulls a couple of all the ones that were given to you were in the sort of the 1 unit denomination, so they're all green. So you have 20 physical hexagonal gem-like discs, and the catfolk pulls a couple of those off to the side, and she says, "This will do."
She only takes a couple?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That doesn't seem sketchy. Sold.
Good. Pleasure doing business with you. Tell me, what is someone such as yourself doing in Usoria this time of year?
You know, I've just never been here, and I really wanted to be here. So I'm here.
How lovely. You, looking for work?
Let's pretend that I am. What you got?
Oh. Well, I happen to know of someone, a friend, really. They may or may not be interested in me, and I wonder if perhaps you have any talents of persuasion. You seem like a persuasive person. Do you think maybe my friend might hire you to help her attract the attention of someone she's interested in?
So this is not a punching someone kind of work, is it?
No.
You know, I will think about it. How's that?
Well, all right.
I've just got a lot of sightseeing to do, you know. I
No, yes, of course. I wouldn't dream of taking up your time. You're clearly an important person.
absolutely.
I understand. It's fine.
I will gather all the rest of my rupees and like awkwardly leave the store
Okay. Sounds good.
with my new oak staff.
With new oak staff. That's great. All right. So you reconvene with everybody else.
I will give Rocky back the 18 or however many rupees were left. That's
Sure,
all I wanted,
yeah.
So
You got it.
No, you keep it. You'll never know when you might need a little walking around money.
I don't believe in material possessions. This is to help me with our goals. So you can have it back.
Okay.
Everything
So
after money
you
is just to
don't
help with
want a cut of the money when I
Well-
spent everything.
the reason I wanted a cut of the money was so I could buy this.
So what I hear you saying is, what is it?
You know what? Yeah, I'll take it. I have a thing to use for it. Use it for.
Okay.
I am not signing it over to Ronnie. It's what I'm saying.
Okay, it'd be cool if I only had to split the money 5 ways instead of 6, but
No, split it 6. Split it 6. I have a use for it.
okay.
All right.
It's only for getting material possessions, though. You realize that.
Says
You can't
who?
get spiritual possessions with money.
Says who? Says you?
What you gonna buy spiritually with it?
As far as I could tell, Ronnie.
At that point, I quit translating.
And then you start seeing her mouth continue to move, but you don't hear anything.
I can't hear you. What?
Rocky, tell her what I'm saying. I want that money.
Sorry, connection
She
timed
can't
out.
dictate what I spend it on. I will just keep talking at her.
Okay. Yeah, Ronnie, you continue to see Hero moving her mouth, but you hear nothing.
I'm starting to act like I'm listening.
I know you're still deaf.
And Ronnie's like, and yet you're still talking.
However, I don't know that Rocky isn't translating to her because he was doing that mentally, right?
Correct.
So,
I mean,
the fact
what
that
you do
she's not
know is
responding to me anymore.
what you do know is that she's not responding and that he's not giving you anything that she's saying.
Yeah. So that's so. In other words, I keep talking at her, no matter.
Well,
what.
he wouldn't have to translate for me. I just loudly answer back.
Yeah.
I can still talk.
Sure.
Sure.
All right. So you continue your awkward conversations as you wander throughout the streets of Uzoria. Let's go ahead and pin down where you guys are bedding down for the night, and we'll pick up there next time.
Well, we already told Kathy we were showing up, so I think that would be rude to just not.
Okay.
That seems fair.
I'm glad Kathy has your respect at least.
She
So,
does.
again, those of you who are not disguising yourselves, because you will be recognized, especially Yara, as sort of accepted officials on the business of the Citadel. You are given access to the Zebos around town, and you are allowed to transport from one guild to another. The one that is closest to the Frozen Mansion, now Kathy's Mansion, would probably be the Fate Guild or the Dominion Guild itself. It's up to you which one you would care to teleport to.
I mean, I'm more comfortable going to the Dominion Guild, but
Okay. So you all are able to get in to the Dominion Guild pretty easily. And from there, it's kind of just a hop, skip, and a jump up to Kathy's mansion. By the time you guys arrive, it is on close to maybe 11:30, 11:45. I would like one person to please roll some luck dice.
yeah, I'll do it. Nobody wants to roll like this. Just 3, right?
Yep.
You missed her. She's out grocery shopping.
6, 2, 2.
Okay. You haven't experienced any significant barriers to getting around. You also haven't noticed that anything in particular is terribly out of place. This reality seems to be strikingly similar. And in fact, several of you over the course of your travels to Kathy's mansion, you almost forget that this is an alternate reality. It seems so very, very similar. And as you approach Kathy's mansion, you knock on the door 3 times. There's an enormous brass knocker on the front, and the sort of boom echoes inside. You notice that as opposed to the very sort of run-down appearance that you remember leaving it in, the Frozen Mansion is now actually quite homey. You notice that there's lantern light coming from inside. There are curtains in the windows. From what you can see, the front of the street, the sort of entrance, has been more maintained. There's no longer weeds growing out from between the cobblestones, for example, and it appears much more inviting. There are 2 magical lamps lit on either side of the big double doors. And after a couple of moments, the latch on the door lifts, and one of the 2 doors begins to swing wide, and you see a very simply dressed woman in sort of just a muslin dress and apron. You see one of those sort of floppy canvas hats sort of to the side, and you see her hair has been pulled to either side of her head in sort of a couple of braids that is sort of left open with a couple of poofs there at the end. And she looks at you and she says, my, but I believe that you all Mistress Kathy's friends. Come inside. She'll usher you all into the main entryway.
Once I get inside and the door closes, I drop my disguise.
Oh, delightful. She told me that some of you were going incognito. She said that you'd done that before. Excellent. Welcome. Come in. And she'll gesture over to sort of a lounge area where you see a very nice sort of high-backed sofa and several squashy armchairs, an ottoman, and a very large, very nice-looking sort of glass-top coffee table. The mistress will be down in just a moment. Can I bring you some tea?
I'll have some.
We have chamomile, rose hips, and mint. Which would you prefer?
Mint.
Excellent. Shall I bring you sugar as well?
Absolutely.
Very good, mistress. Anything else for the rest?
No, I'm good.
Yes, I would love a lovely glass of rose hip.
Excellent. Maybe a biscuit or 2, love?
Sure.
Very well. The same for you, Miss Yara?
That will be most kind of you.
Excellent. I'll bring a selection for the rest in case you get a little bit kippy. So she'll shuffle off into the kitchen and come back a moment or 2 later with the tea. She'll set it on the glass top, the coffee table. And then you hear the creaking of wood as you hear the stumps of wood meeting wood, as it sounds like a pair of walking sticks stomping down the stairs. And as you look, you see that now clothed in a almost shining white, what looks like a nightgown, perhaps, but with a mantle that appears to be very reminiscent of what she used to wear. You see Kathy, now her hood back, showing her 8 flashing eyes proudly, a sort of a minimal embroidered sun symbol on her chest, sort of descends from the upper floors and greets you as follows.
Gosh. Just as She usually was. She's still quiet. She kind of looks at Ronnie and seems like she wants to almost offer a hug, but doesn't.
Ronnie hugs her.
Oh. Okay.
Aw.
Given the green light, she will hug her back.
It's tears of happiness.
I only recognize a few of you, but it's good to see you again. Look at specifically Rocky and Bran, and I think I knew Jareth. Kathy knew Jareth.
Yeah.
But Yara and Hero are new. So, I a long time ago got rooms made up for all of you. There's beds that fit you. I had made. Not for everyone, apparently.
Kathy, is that you? You sound different.
Dave, we
Could
can't
be
hear
me,
you, Dave.
Sorry, I was muted. I just said, Kathy, it's really good to see you again.
You too. And now, other than the difference between Chelsea actually talking as Kathy and everything else, she's just a little more loud, I guess, than she was. So,
Kathy, can I introduce you to Hero?
well, actually, I think we met a little bit at the up at Sanflowstead for a short few seconds. They'll just exchange nods because they recognize the similar religious beliefs in the light.
Right.
So,
Right. Actually, one thing that is significant, Kathy, is that you probably wouldn't recognize Hero, and so it takes you a moment to realize that it's the same person.
do I eventually realize it though?
I mean, the fact that she's running around with Rocky and that Rocky introduced her as Hero, it makes you think, oh, it couldn't be possible that there was another person named Hero running around with Rocky and the gang. But what happened? Like you don't connect it until like a second later. You're like, oh.
Yeah. Okay. In that case, she'll kind of note that and give Hero a really long many seconds thoughtful stare and kind of file that away to maybe bring up again later. It's pretty late. Do you all want to turn in? Or I've not gotten any better at talking than I used to be. Really.
We can turn in if you want to take this up in the morning.
It's up to you.
We don't mean to intrude if you don't.
As soon as I came back here and got this building back, the rooms have been there for you guys. So you could have come back at any time. And this is a safe. I don't know how to pronounce the word. Demence.
It's pronounced domain.
Oh, okay.
It's French, so they like to spell things weird and then pronounce them the way that we would normally.
Gotcha. The light protects this house, so no darkness can, without a lot of effort, can come in. So you're safe here.
Well, I don't mean to impose upon you and your reconvening with friends. I have to get ready for the ritual tomorrow anyway at the tower, Ronnie. I'll work to make sure that everything is prepared so we can try to break. So is the joke on the side here is that Kathy from this version knows you or something? Is that what's going on there?
Technically, well, did she ever
Yes.
actually meet Yara? Because when we were staying in the War Guild, Kathy was hiding. She was
I think you knew who Yara was. Like you've seen her.
Right. I don't know that we ever officially met,
though. So Kathy has been in the group ever since since Slopeton, and Yara joined up when.
Oh,
so
Sparrowville.
You guys knew each other in Sparrowville, but then when she came in to take over at the time the War Guild, you were hiding as a spider inside of Ronnie's hood. So while she has met you before, she hasn't really seen you in Uzoria before. At least that was the other timeline. In this timeline, and I sent a message to both of you actually. You all have actually met and interacted with each other quite a bit. So when this timeline's Kathy picked things up where she did with the Light Guild and the Order of the White Sun, Yara, of course, being a prominent member of the magical community at this point because she reestablished a guild that had been not around for a while, you two ended up collaborating a little bit, and so there was some discussion actually between the guilds about how to make the most of the inter-guild sort of collaboration. So you two have been on councils together. Actually, you're familiar with each other, which is one of the reasons why your housekeeper, the woman, yeah, she knew Yara when she came in.
Oh, okay.
But I don't know you. I don't know you that well.
Correct. The Yara from this timeline would have known the Kathy from this timeline, but this is now a different Yara.
Right. What was the original question that sent us off on that? I don't remember.
I think Yara was going to.
Oh, I was going to, leave.
Awkwardly
and go to
leave.
Yeah, awkwardly leave, since I feel like I'm not really friends with you, but you're like, no, stay. Probably.
There are, let's see, the rooms would have been set up for Ronnie, Rocky, Bran, and Jareth. And then I would have had an extra one for Barty. So it's a huge bed. So whoever wants that bed can have it. Was that it? Were we missing another person? Mekon. Okay. Yeah. Where is Mekon?
That's a tale for the evening.
It's 11 at night.
That's a tale for tomorrow morning.
There we go.
All right.
Mekon died.
Well.
Oh man. Okay. There it is.
We lost him. No, I'm telling you now. I'm going to be.
But he may live again.
We don't know. We went into the time stone, and he pulled a Mekon, and it didn't work out for him so well, and we lost him.
To be completely honest, I'm surprised it took that long. Well,
we will treasure the time we had with him.
Kathy does kind of sadden a little bit at that, but that does mean we have enough beds, I suppose, for everyone. So Yara, if you do want to return, there's a bed here for you.
I suppose this is a rather large domicile. I could probably work on setting up the ritual here. That would save me some time.
Actually,
if you have orders for me.
If you need space for that, I have a room that's I use for things like this.
Perfect.
You literally have a ritual. Yes.
I'll show everybody to their rooms and then take Yara to the study that used to be Yakris' study.
Yes.
Knowing that the curses are really inhibiting our group to communicate and work, and we need to get that money cashed in, I will work as much as I am able to until I just get too tired to otherwise, and then retire for the evening.
Like materials in there that Yara can make use of. She's free to make use of them if I have any.
Yeah, let's see. So you do have you have been allocated specific materials and like alchemical reagents and material components and things, stuff that would be really more oriented toward like the banishing of demons and like light sphere spells and effects and things. It so happens that some subsection of these materials would be helpful to Yara in setting up her ritual. So she wouldn't need to go out of her way to like go back to her tower and grab a bunch of stuff. She could probably work with what she's got here.
Cool. Well, I'll give Yara free reign on what materials to use. I'm sure I can just reallocate some later to replace them. So.
Sure. All right. So you all find place in in Kathy's mansion. Ronnie, Rocky, Bran, and Jareth all have their own rooms,
Custom beds.
custom
She got
beds.
custom beds made for you guys.
There are a couple of rooms left vacant still. One for Barty, were he to ever return, and one for Mekon.
Yeah, I assume I'm taking Mekon's bedroom, so I walk in. It's like an other disaster nest set up.
Actually, all the rooms are perfectly clean because you guys have never stayed there before.
Right.
Did you decorate the rooms for everybody?
Yeah, that would be my joke, is that if it was set up for Mekon, you like specifically trashed it or something.
Yeah, on purpose.
Everywhere.
If the Light Temple had given me like not any sort of like wage or allowance, I probably would have put little things in there that made me think of them. But I don't think Kathy would have had access to much money. So other than that,
Yeah. Well, along with the mansion, you do remember that you had 1,400 platinum.
I thought I gave that to the lady who needed legal help.
And that got resolved, and you were able to use, and it didn't use all of it, of course. It used some, but it's not like it exhausted what you had available. You were able to liberate and or hire many of the people who had been similarly afflicted by their association with Yakris and their inability to get job thereafter, and being sort of held accountable legally for all the things that they did to assist him. But again, you did have money left over. So it amounts to essentially with the time it's been, you've taken the opportunity to sort of upgrade the mansion and its surroundings.
I'm obviously not going to do like a 1.5 hour Liam O'Brien description of a building. But Kathy was never good at giving gifts, so she probably would have like customized small things in everybody's rooms, like maybe thought that Ronnie could make use of some little knives from down the street, like the shop down the street, that are probably actually not actually useful for fighting, but like they're set real nice on the counter or on the bedside table. Little things like that for everybody that she thinks would probably be like a nice little thing, but are either worthless or she missed the mark. So she tried.
Sure. For funsies and to conserve time now, because it's sort of the end of the night, if you'd like, Chelsea, you're welcome to maybe type something up and share it with everybody. That way everybody kind of knows what to expect.
That would be fun. I'll do that.
So everyone beds down for the night with the exception of Yara, who stays up all night in the study doing the best she can to get things ready for the ritual to break the curse on Ronnie. Having already collected the Dig Site 23 topographical chart, and what was the other thing we decided?
That poem written in her own blood.
Yes. Ronnie, are you going to be staying up to craft that?
Yep, that's totally metal.
Yep.
Okay. So Ronnie will be working on her calligraphy with sampling the ink from her own blood. Yara, you will be able to help her kind of make that happen in a way that basically makes it as easy as possible to use it for its magical purposes without like causing her permanent damage. But yeah,
Yeah.
you'll be able to make that happen as much as possible. Both Yara and Ronnie, because you're going to be staying up, go ahead and make some Constitution saving throws real quick.
Nat 20, baby. It's like the third Nat 20 night.
Nice.
11.
11. Okay. It's taking more of a toll on you, Ronnie, than it is Yara. Yara, you've given your days in academia, you're used to all-nighters.
Yeah.
And you sort of you go back to your days of okay, I need lots of caffeine, You sort of work through the night. You've got regular doses of the good tea from the housekeeper, and as after everybody has had a nice evening's rest, the dawn comes, and you are still working. We'll handle your crafting check, Ronnie, next time. Yara, you will have set up the ritual by that point. And we'll end our session today on the following. Yara, sort of nodding off in the armchair there in the study, you hear a gentle tapping at the door. This is the door of the room.
Yeah. I'll go see who it is.
You open the door and you see that it's the housekeeper, and she's holding a small, very simple sort of a ceramic platter with a rolled up scroll with a seal in it.
No, just not to be rude. What is it? Like it's a message from somebody?
Yeah, it looks like a message. It's the sort that you would see from messengers throughout the city. It seems fairly standard.
Who's this from?
Well, I don't know, miss, but it does seem to bear the seal of a dragon. Do you happen to know anybody associated with the Draconians?
I don't think so off the top of my head.
Okay.
No. Thank you for delivering this. I'll look at it right away.
Very well, miss. Let me know if you'd like to send a reply. The messenger is waiting.
All right, I'll take a look at it and read it.
Okay. As you crack the seal and begin to unroll the scroll, you see that the writing is written in this flowing sort of emerald green ink script. And immediately upon cracking the seal and starting to unroll the scroll, you also hear what's written as if it's being spoken aloud in your mind. And immediately you hear this voice. Hello, my name is Tiberius Stormwind from Draconia. And that's where we're going to call today's session.
Okay.
Oh my goodness. That was a good impression there, Jay.
Thank you.
I'm hoping just 2 of the 3 will be enough to crack this other curse, and then we just have the final blindness on Brand to have to deal with.
Yeah.
I like how each one of these is different, though, to make this really complicated, and they're
That's
not
the
just
idea.
the same kind of curse.
And you also tried to break the curse without any of these sort of helpful items the first time, and you got really lucky.
Yeah, I figured we got lucky, but I wanted to try to give it a crack before we got back on the road again.
Right. So we'll get to the rest of the message next time. We'll have Ronnie complete her calligraphy, and then we'll see if we can break this spell. So thanks, guys. Hope you enjoyed.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Thanks, Jay, for putting everything together.
Absolutely.
I'm glad you guys finally went back to the mansion.
Yes. I've been waiting for this reunion for a while now.
It wasn't as awkward as it could be. Could have been.
Seems like it was a good time to come back and catch our breath and figure out the next stone run.
Right. You guys collected how many? 4 or 5?
Quite a bit, yeah. Would have been.
You got the 3 from Siren Sea,
Conjuration,
Divination, Weather, and Dark. You got the 1 from Fate, and then Yara 1.0 came in with the Conjuration Stone. That was a good haul.
Yeah.
Yep.
You still got 7 to go.
You'd be surprised what you can accomplish without none of them there side quests.
Amen.
Yes.
Alright. I'm gonna go eat something.
Very good.
All
Have a
right,
good
thanks,
night.
everybody.
Now.
Bye, guys.
Bye bye.
Bye.